Another Combine in the books. Tom Gazzola alongside Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer from the Oilers Radio Network. Gentlemen, this year a lot different from the Combines that we've covered in recent years. Like, no top 5 pick, no top 10 pick, like we saw a few years ago when the Oilers picked Darnell Nurse. All of a sudden, we're looking at all kinds of prospects, and we don't know what the Oilers are going to take or do at 22.
Well, and not just the 22nd pick, but the fact that the Oilers don't have a second-round pick as we speak. Right. Now, they do have 2 third-round picks, but the lack of a second-round pick means only 1 in the first 81. And, you know, of course, at times, Edmonton has had as many as 3 picks in the first 31 or 32. So it is a different feel to the Combine this year. And I also think, Bob, that Keith Gretzky articulated the biggest thing about this year's draft, and that's reflected in the Combine, is the depth, as opposed to the number of top-end players we've seen in recent years. This is more of a depth draft where you may find key guys at 82 and 84.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. A couple things here. I mean, first of all, the Oilers moving in this direction obviously is a good thing long term. You got to, you know, when you draft a little bit later, you still got to make those count. And the Oilers did the last time they had a number 22 overall pick. Let's go back to 2008. That was Jordan Eberle.
Yeah.
And the last time I checked, he's the 7th highest scoring right wing in the NHL since coming into the league in 2010. So that was a pretty good pick. If they could hit on a level like that again, you know, with a first-round pick, that would be an amazing thing. And they might be quiet, Jack, for a while. They might. We shall see whether or not there's a potential trade, because they do have an extra third and extra fifth. Maybe they can move up a bit, possibly even into the late second round, but there's a lot of variance in terms of where different teams see players as well, and that speaks to your point about the depth.
Well, and exactly, and I think, Tom, as we move forward this summer, the key to watch out for as the draft comes along is what players are going to be available, because if Edmonton does make a move, it's going to be a move for a player they really like. They're not just going to make a move to move up 10 slots and just gamble on a guy that's basically the same as another guy.
And we're not talking in the first round. We're talking about beyond that.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be holding on to the 22nd overall pick. I think there's, frankly, you know, we had Keith Gretzky on yesterday, mentioned the fact speed and skill. I think that if it comes down to a defenseman and a forward, you're probably looking at a forward if their two are close. But if a really good defenseman slides down to 22, maybe the Oilers would snap him up as well.
Well, and look for skill, too. I mean, that's the other thing that I think is safe to assume, is that the Oilers feel like they've improved their size for so many years. At this event and the NHL draft, we had talked about Edmonton needing to get bigger. I don't think that's necessarily any longer the case. They're looking for skill, best player, more to Bob's point. And again, don't look for any moves unless there's really a guy to be had. And you also have to find a partner. To get a late second-round pick, you got to find a partner that's willing to maybe acquire 2/3 in exchange for that late second-rounder.
Really quickly, will this be more of a test, this draft, for the Oilers scouting staff,
Yes.
do you think? Yeah?
Absolutely. Unequivocally.
Well,
Jack.
when you're mining for depth, you need to find guys, you know, I mean, look, is it a stretch to say, all right, there's going to be a Jamie Benn in this draft? Probably. But you've got to find guys that can be serviceable NHL players in the 3rd or 4th rounds. That's how you build depth in an organization.
Bob?
You know what? If you just, you know, over a 12-year run, if you have 10 or 11 of your first-round picks panning out, you know, that should be in large part the core of your team. When you've been drafting as high as Edmonton has, it must be a core. But you need at least one player from round 2 through 7 to make it as well. And this is an area the Oilers have needed to improve, and that's why we've seen some changes here of late with the scouting staff.
Okay, finally, one guy that you liked talking to today or that really impressed you?
Well, really, for me, it would have to be the goaltender, the Memorial Cup winning goaltender, Michael DiPietro. I found him to be an exceptionally charismatic guy. I don't necessarily think he's going to be around at 82, but there's always a possibility because, Tom, as you know, the goaltending position, it seems like every guy that's drafted is 6'4" to 6'6".
Right.
He's more in the 6 foot to 6'1" category, but as he so eloquently put it, like, if size is my problem, well, go find out what Jonathan Quick thinks of his size, along with his 2 Stanley Cup rings.
Stuff?
For me, 2 forwards. Christian Vesalainen, very interesting guy, confident guy, big guy. Said, hey, I had a terrible year, I had a good close to the year in the U18. And then a tinier guy, but a guy that's a skilled player, in Kato Yamamoto, really intelligent, well-spoken. So, frankly, all the kids, I think you found this as well. They're very smooth. Smoother than some of the guys doing the interviews.
I have to give a shout out to Pierre-Olivier Joseph, who couldn't keep his breakfast down after doing the Wingate, and it's a tough test.
That's the thing with you, Tom. I'm
mean,
wondering whether it's you, because you've had a couple of these over the course
Joel
of our
Edmondson
time here.
from the Blues, when he was here at the Combine, had the same situation happen. So
Same reaction toward you.
I don't know if
being
it's
on
me,
deck
but
to interview.
They handled it well. Both guys handled it like true pros. So that does it from the Combine in Buffalo. For Jack and Bob, Tom Gazzola signing off.